You're listening to Mixing Mindsets. I'm Andrew Blank.
And I'm Eric Navrosky, and we hope you find some value out of these conversations about lifestyle, music, and more. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mixing Mindsets. For our visual viewers, you'll notice that this is not in the typical space.
Correct.
We are now at Andrew's place, and we are joined with another Andrew, Drew Hawthorne. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself in a minute. But I think this topic is going to be about finding comfort and being content within your journey in your day-to-day. I think it's going to be loosely based off that. And we're just kind of going to spitball here and have a good conversation.
Right.
So let's start with you, Drew.
All right.
Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This is take 2. We tried this once.
I was just going to call out that elephant in the room first. Long story short, we shot a podcast, went super well, and Drew's microphone wasn't working correctly. So this is
yeah, that's me. Yeah, I messed that one up. I completely messed that one up. But here we are, and his microphone is working now.
Right. Hopefully.
So it is. I'm looking at it. It's sitting in front of me. It's
Drew,
working.
for the people that don't know you, go ahead and just give us like a cliff noted version of who you are and what you do.
So I'm Drew. I'm from Connecticut, and I'm currently the media director at Revelation Church in Basra, Connecticut. I'm there doing all the graphics, all the video, for anything visual really is what I'm doing. And I've been kind of starting to do a little bit more freelance stuff on the side. So that's kind of just a very quick guess clip out of it.
No, absolutely.
And you're here because I know you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known you because our wives know each other
Yep.
from an internship.
Yep.
Right. Well, actually, you.
Yeah. I knew your wife before I knew you.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. This is true.
All the three of us went to the same school, like internship thing.
Same internship. And then through that mutual connection, Drew has actually worked, I guess, for the studio. You sort of worked for the studio. It was like freelance work, basically, which is, which what we're talking about. But you've made logos for us that I actually love. Like, they're incredible. I think they're great logos. And some other things. But anyways, so that's how you're here. That's how we know you.
Yep.
So in the first take of this that didn't quite work well, we talked about what you do, and you mentioned your freelance stuff, that you're happy kind of where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember going. I came in with the mentality of like, oh, we're going to talk about like this go-getter mentality. Drew's going to talk about how he wants to freelance full time. He wants to do this and grind this, that, all of that. But we ended up ending it on this note of like, wow, Drew is 100% content with where he is right now, and he's willing to just grow and prosper from his life scenario right now.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the overarching theme of this conversation.
Yeah.
I think there's just a beauty in that it tends to like society tends to gravitate toward that very like go-getter mentality, grind.
You have to
grind 24/7, sleep 5 hours. That's enough. Like that kind of stuff.
That's enough.
But no, there's this beauty where you could kind of take a step back and find gratefulness in every single thing that you do. And just kind of prosper from there, because there's this contentment that, I don't know, it's so overseen in the public eye.
Yeah. So talk about your day-to-day, what you're content with that and the freelance, and how you navigate both together.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm full-time at the church that I work at. And, I'm there. It's not a typical 9 to 5. It's a 12 to 12 job. It's like a constant thing working in ministry. And it's something I love. I wouldn't change it at this time for anything. And so, I'm there during the week prepping. I'm there on the weekend doing services, Saturday and Sunday. And then the freelance stuff is just kind of like right now, word of mouth. So I have like friends and stuff that are like, they need a logo or they want some photos, or just, like I started doing real estate photography with someone that I know. And I've done one of my friend's weddings, and I'm planning on doing another one in August for another friend.
Photo or video?
Video.
That's
video.
right.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why you're here right now is because you were helping me and Andrew and our band, So Much So Buried, shoot some video.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to get into detail with, but some video.
Coming soon.
Some video was shot. So that's really cool.
Yep. And so, I mean, other than that, it's just, when it arrives, I'm not really like promoting myself. I'm not like posting a bunch of stuff. I did like a time in 2019 where I was doing like a year devotional in the Bible and reading the Bible in a year. And with that, in each reading, I picked a verse and made a graphic a day for 2019. So,
which is on your Instagram,
Drew Hawthorne Design.
Drew Hawthorne Design.
Yeah. It's a black and white logo. It's
actually really cool and it looks awesome. And your design work is really, really sweet. But that is more, what do you call that? Compositing? Is that what that is?
I mean, I just call it making a graphic.
Okay. Let's keep it simple.
I don't have a term for it.
Yeah.
It's just like drawing a picture with a computer basically for me. Like it's just what I picture in mind, just figuring out how to put on a screen.
Yeah. But it looks awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It's been very inactive. The amount of times I said, all right, I'm coming back, and I post one, and then I don't have to go back to it. So it's just, I'm just going to stop saying I'm coming back. And if I want to post, I'll post. But
yeah, there's
that goes
your
right back to that contentment. He's just happy allowing things to be what they are.
Yeah, I did the 1 year thing, and that's like I met that goal of just like doing.
Set a quota for yourself. You attained it, and there's happiness in that.
Yeah, I felt that about my vlogs. So I have like 3 vlogs out, maybe 4. I can't even remember. But it was more so just a document purpose for me.
Right.
It wasn't exactly, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a YouTube vlogger. And
I've always had that same mentality of like, I've always wanted to start a vlog, but under the circumstances that like, wow, I'm going to be able to look back at this like 5 to 10 years from now. I haven't had the motivation to get there yet, but maybe someday, But I think if you go into something for the right reasons, then it's going to prosper.
Talking into a camera is awful.
It is.
It's very difficult to just stare into the camera by yourself, either alone in the room. It's even harder actually with not being alone in the room.
Yeah.
As Sarah's I know she's in the house and maybe she has headphones on and isn't listening to me, but in my brain I'm like, no, she's in the house. She hears everything.
Like being in this tiny apartment right now. Like I go through the same thing when I'm making like demos and stuff like that. Gabby's sitting right here on the couch. It's directly behind me. I'm like 10 feet away in the room right there, just like belting my heart out of things I'm not sure about.
This could sound great, but it could sound terrible. She's sitting on the couch just like, that's not the one.
She's literally just watching me be creative in there. It's like 90% not good.
There's a reason why I chose to go behind the camera and operate it. Because
Sarah says the same thing, and I do feel that way. Vlogging is hard, and being in front of the camera is a very difficult task.
Yeah,
it's easier
especially
to hide
being in media, like because there's a certain level of perfection you want to hit,
right?
Like because you're like, oh no, I gotta fix that because I don't want to. I just want to do one take. And like during COVID, like quarantine and stuff, our church did like online services, and basically all the staff were like taking turns doing announcements through the week. And I had to do it, but I was doing it by myself. So I was in a room alone, and I was like, I'm talking to myself, I'm motivated. And I was like, all right. And then like I'm just at the end, and then I stutter over my words, and I just go, crap. And I'm like, God, do it again. Really could have it would have been fine if I just kept going, but I was like, I wanted that perfection. And learning how to cope with just, it's good.
It's kind of letting things
being comfortable in
what they are.
Yeah.
I was watching this mixing tutorial with, I think it was Joey Sturgis or something like that.
All right.
He was listening back to all of his old songs, and he was just like, there are so many things I would fix about that, but it's out, so I can't.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's that piece of when it's out.
Right.
You're like,
when it's out, it's out.
I can't go back now. You just have to drop it.
Right.
That dude, that was a big issue with me recently where something came out and I don't know why, but the levels on Spotify are significantly different between the songs on the record. It's not between like different projects. It's the same project and it's different volumes. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? And it's super frustrating, but in my brain, I just have to be like, it's done. It happened. And I talked to the band about it and we're like, they were super chill.
Right.
They said it happened and I don't know why, but we're moving on.
And sometimes, especially in a creative field, sometimes people are just like,
it was my creative choice
exactly.
to turn it.
Or if it like gets really big, they're just like, oh, they meticulously thought about that.
Oh yeah,
like, they want that volume lower on purpose just to get the emotion. Like it's like no.
yeah. But you have to be comfortable with that and just say, okay, well, it happened and we're moving on. You know, not gonna keep dwelling over that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a thing that I struggle with for sure.
What's that?
Like sometimes dwelling.
Just dwell over. Okay.
Oh yeah, dwelling over things that happen, dude. I tell myself logically to not think about that record, but to this day, I still think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's oh gosh, that's hard. That's hard to stop.
I think there's like something about like having that thought of wow, this is bad, but then like burying so much work over it that it doesn't even become a thought anymore. I maybe that just works for me. I don't know what works for you.
I've buried myself in so much work. I don't have time to think about.
I as much as I would love to try to do that, there are still stuff in like from middle school. I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I say that to the teacher? Or seriously, like, you ever have like those moments where it's just like
you're a super dweller,
unless it's like a physical reminder. Like I was one. I firmly believe that the bone in my pinky was broken and healed the wrong way because I was like into the 6th grade and I was like, check this out. And I just jacked a locker.
No.
I'm like, I can't explain it. It feels like my bone creates like a little bit of a C.
No. Oh man. That's if that isn't the most like middle schooler mentality I've ever heard.
That's probably like that's probably the only like middle school mentality, like a reminder that I have because it's a physical reminder.
Oh gosh, that's amazing. So you super dwell.
I guess, yeah. You know, it's only when like, you know, I'm ready to go to bed. I'm just like in my own brain space and it's like,
remember when I was 13?
That one time in 7th grade.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
All right. I definitely don't do that. And I'm grateful that I don't.
Luckily, I don't.
No offense.
It's not something like I really dwell on. It's just like thinking about it, I'm like, wow, I really did that. Right. I guess it's not much of a dwelling thing.
Yeah.
But
well, that happens to me every time I get a Facebook reminder of my memories.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. I look back and I was like, wow. Why? Why have I?
Yeah. Right.
I can't believe you've done this.
I tend to like have that like overarching positive mentality on that now, and I'm just like, that sucked, but I learned from that, and I'm here because of that. Yeah.
You have to think of it that way. You know, I'm thinking now. Well, I would never say that now, and thank God, because if I still was that person to say that now,
right?
Oh,
exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's hilarious. And I'm still thinking about how you punched a locker because you're like, yo, check this out.
That's funny. I don't think I've only told a handful of people that.
Oh my
but now,
gosh.
Are you embarrassed?
No, there's so for the visual
heck yes.
For the visual people here, my cat is currently climbing on my back. I just heard a really big like from his nose.
This is amazing.
I'm glad we're capturing this in real time. Oh wait, no, that's a back leg on my back.
He's just, I don't know.
Right.
Benny.
Well, if this is not incentive to watch on YouTube.
I really hope it's in the shot.
Yeah, he's right on top of the chair. He's just doing his thing. He's trying to get
cool.
over here. It's funny because we wanted this to happen and I wasn't sure because there wasn't a chair.
Yeah.
But no, he's trying.
So now you have to put featuring Drew Hawthorne and Benny.
Oh, and he's gone.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It was just a brief.
Anyway, back to the topic, gentlemen.
It's just a brief.
Anyways, dude, back to the topic of talking about being comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
I totally see how that is a very difficult thing for someone to do if the thing that they're doing is what they're trying to do to make money and they're not quite there yet.
Right.
Definitely. You know, if you make a certain amount a year and it's sustainable to live, you're way okay with the journey. You're way more okay, even if it's on like the bottom end.
Right.
You know, so for Sarah and I right now, we're there, you know, we're making a living doing what we love.
Yeah.
And that to me, I can enjoy this process. But if I was making, you know, half of what I'm making, I don't know if I could really say
it's not.
Oh yeah, I love this
sustainable.
Yeah, I love this journey
Right
now, and that's that's a tough thing to come to terms with because a lot of people are just starting out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easy to just tell someone, hey man, love the journey, you know, be comfortable with the journey.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they're thinking, I can't afford to do anything. I can't afford to eat. I can't afford to live. I mean, based off of what what they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based off of their responsibilities at that point in time of life for them.
Right.
It's just I always factor in the fact that like the older you get, more responsibilities tend to pile up. So these are things you have to factor.
You're having a baby.
Exactly.
That's going to cost money.
Yeah. No, babies cost money.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure that everything is financially sound before hobbies and like passions and stuff like that, because that's just the realistic factor of life.
That's life.
But
I mean, Drew, you just bought a home.
I did.
Right?
Yeah, that's expensive.
Which it is. But I think what's actually kind of not awesome, awe-inspiring, inspirational, whatever you want to call it, is that you're 23 years old.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
That's
to
awesome.
mention
Thank
here,
you.
actually.
Yeah, I think that at 23 years old, wow, I was stupid. And buying a house was nowhere near
right. No, same.
in my future. You know, I still 100%. Haven't bought a house.
I mean, I have to give credit.
So
I have to give credit where credit is due, and like I would not be buying a house without my wife because
and your team, and that's
granted,
awesome.
like I'd still be probably with my parents, when they
right.
But getting married kind of really motivates. I feel like
I have this other person. Yeah, I know, right? And we're all married here.
Yes.
So and that's I think about myself too. I got married at 26. And I was still living with my parents prior to that. I don't know what kind of motivation I would have had to really move out,
right?
If it wasn't for being
funny.
married.
I think about that too.
You know,
like
why would I had a roof over my head and I didn't have to pay for it,
right? Yeah.
You know, my parents are wonderful people and they didn't charge me rent or anything. My mom would feed me all the time,
right?
You know, so really just moving out was just a financial burden. It would have been just a financial burden if I wasn't married. Now, obviously, having that separation from my parents while being married is very desirable and lovely. But so at 23 years old, doing a lot of this stuff is, I think, a motivation for me.
Yeah, same here.
I see you as a 5 years younger than me. And thinking to myself back in 5 years, and everyone always talks about what's your 5-year goal? What's your 10-year goal? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was Drew's age, and I would have said, what's my 5-year goal? I'm there. And I wasn't in the mindset at 23 to really think of a 5-year goal.
Right.
And you can't dwell on that.
Exactly.
You have to kind of move on, and it is what it is, and whatever. But yeah, looking at you at this age, buying a house, doing the thing you love, and being content in that's inspiring.
Absolutely.
I think.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 1,000,000% consider just Drew just a peer, even though we got this 4 or 5 year age gap here going on here. But like, no, he's something I would inspire to be at 23.
I know it's awesome. Cool. That's like really cool. So how did you even fall into? Was it lucky or were you pushing for it?
I mean, honestly, like God just kind of like really put it into place for me. Like coming out of high school is kind of like where I was more like in tune, like with like job. Like I was like, quick backstory. Like I was a Christian all my life.
Yeah.
Like, Christian, quote unquote. Like I went to church and stuff, but like I didn't really like pursue it. And then, like towards the end of my senior year is when I got more involved with my church, like helping on like the youth ministry and stuff.
Is it the church you're in now?
Yes, yeah.
Sick.
And so, and then that's how I ended up learning. Like I went to a conference with this thing, and the conference was actually in relation to the internship, and it just kind of like all fell in place. But like honestly, like I've always been like an artsy kind of guy, I guess. Like I've always like but.
Right.
During
you got a creative eye, that's for sure.
Right. Well, thank you. I didn't want to just say right.
Right.
I always grew up like just doing anything. Like after high school, like I had no plan. Like if it wasn't for like the conference and doing the internship, like I would just like my brain would have probably just gone to like community college and like figure it out after there.
Well, that's what I did.
That's what I did too.
My brain was just like, maybe I want to do woodworking because I liked wood shop. Like it was just so random. But it was during one of the youth groups. One of the leaders, who is actually now the youth pastor, Sam, he pulled me aside and was like, hey, you want to join the social media team? I'm like, you know what? Sure. why not? That sounds fun.
You're 18 at this point?
17.
Okay.
I was 17. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then, so I go into like, we set a date. I hear team. I'm thinking like, there's gonna be a good amount of people in it.
Oh yeah.
It was just me and him. So we
You're part of the team, buddy.
We transitioned it from like the social media team to like making like graphics for like sermon series and stuff like that. And so like that was kind of like the driving force of like I enjoyed doing this. And
right.
And so after that, it was just like one thing after another, like a lot of self-teaching, a lot of YouTube videos,
right.
and then like going.
That's how a lot of creatives do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like,
so I did it.
If you want to go to college, like power to you.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
like I don't think in this day and age with just so much being online, you don't need a degree or like some special certificate to get through it. You can.
I mean, the same way. I feel the same way.
It's really funny. At the podcast that isn't going to air, I quoted Gary Vee. I can quote Gary Vee again.
Do it. I forgot the quote, to be honest.
It's like, because it's exactly that mentality. I just remember him saying something along the lines of just like, the 4-year degree is the standard now.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to want to gravitate toward that. So basically run away from that and do anything else. And you're going to find success there.
Right.
And this is interesting. Do you have a degree?
Technically, no. I have a certificate, but
Okay,
it's
right.
not really like
but it's not a
internship,
degree.
but it's not like no. I don't
You have a 4-year,
I do.
and I have a 2-year.
Right.
So it's hilarious that you don't have a degree, I have a 2-year, and you have a 4-year, and we're
This
all
is the guy just rocking it.
and I have no student loans.
yeah, no student loans.
There you go.
Yeah, Sarah and I got super lucky, and we grinded and paid ours off as soon as possible. There you go. So I mean, I came into our marriage with none, and she came into it with just a little bit, and we looked at that and we were like, let's just get rid of this, because it was
Let's grind it out.
it was tough. But Sarah doesn't have a degree either.
Yeah,
and she does a killer job at what she does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I technically have a degree in my field in music recording, but I didn't feel like I really learned a whole lot out of that. I feel, the majority of my learning was doing it.
Right.
You got to sit down, you got to do it. When you're in a creative field like you do a lot, video, photos, graphics.
Jack of
you
all
don't
trade.
get good at that by just
learning
learning
it.
about it.
Yeah,
Textbook's not going to teach you how to be creative.
no.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how like I am with everything learning. I have to like do like you can be like, all right, just do this, then this, then like no, just tell me what to do and let me do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like muscle memory will help a lot more than you just telling me.
Yeah, and some of the jargon is good.
Absolutely. I think it establishes a foundational sense of knowledge.
Yeah.
On whatever subject
Basically.
that is. And you could use that to
But I don't
step away from that.
yeah, out of a creative field, and maybe this was just my experience, but I don't feel as if you're gonna get good at that creative thing
Right.
by the time you finish school.
Right.
I think there is just the creative field is just such an oversaturated thing right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially, I always speak in regards to music. So like everyone's always seeking out something that's outside of the box. You can't go outside of the box if all you know is what's in the box.
Right. Yeah. What's in the starter kit?
Exactly. Yeah. And so you just have to find other means of like, how am I going to do this? Not like formulated.
Conventionally?
Yeah, essentially.
Which is funny you bring that up. I was standing with the drummer of Toothless. His name is James.
Yeah.
James and I were standing watching a drummer. And James he goes, yeah, he's really good, but I bet you he went to Berkeley. And this is not to trash Berkeley in any way.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, oh, really? Why? And he goes, they all play the same. And sure enough, the guy stops playing. And he gets on the mic because he was sort of like he would play a little, talk a little, play a little, talk a little. He gets on the mic and he's like, yeah, so I graduated from Berkeley. I was like, oh, James, you called it. And I think that says something. Maybe not great.
Right.
Because isn't that the opposite of what us as creatives are really supposed to do?
We want to create the new trend. We can't be following what already exists.
Right.
Yeah, I think our idea is to create something new.
Right.
I mean,
It's just at least I feel like in the creative field that should be the goal, essentially.
maybe it's not for some people.
Right.
But then to me, it becomes less creative and more technical.
Yes.
It's more of a
'Cause
tech.
then you're kind of there's this bold pointed. I should follow this, and this, and that's going to ultimately create this, and that's what I want.
Right.
It's goal oriented, but I feel like there's a lack of creativity in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just the type of personality that's stressed.
I feel like there are a group of people out there that like kind of like need that starter kit, like that foundation, because like that's just, I mean, like it's just how I learn differently. Like I have to be hands-on doing it. Like other people just like they're either just being told what to do. They have to read what to do. Like it's always different. So if you need that foundation, then go for it. But I mean, like for those who like, you know, sometimes it's just like other life factors. Like you can't afford it. Yeah. You can't like have the time. Like 100%. you have to be supporting a family or something. If you like whatever it is. So like there are means of pursuing it. And also it's just like that other group of people that like think that I just need to go to college and I'll be able to do it. But like just because you just have a degree in it now, it doesn't mean like you're automatically at the top of the list. Like, people are going to choose experience, no degree versus like
in the creative field.
In the creative field, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be at a hospital. Like that's not how it works.
You're really good, but you don't have a degree. I'm
a creative duck.
But yeah, I mean, you know, when somebody looks at my work, they look at my final product.
Yes.
They don't look at my degree.
Final product.
You know, nobody cares that I have a degree in music recording technology. They listen to my final work and they go, "Oh, you're good."
Yeah,
you're good, or you're not, or you know, whatever you may think of my work.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you know it's cool to be in this comfortable area. I do believe it's a balance because I think you have to, as we said in the last version of this that didn't make it, you need to be celebrating the wins while also continuing pushing for the next thing. And it really has to be this beautiful balance between the two, because if you never celebrate the wins, you're mentally going to drain yourself to nothing.
Right.
And if you only celebrate the wins, then you'll never grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You'll never voice crack. My voice be cracking. You'll never grow.
Right.
And that's also not good. You know, I don't think it's good. I guess some people can be content just not growing, but I feel like even with you being happy, you know, at your job currently and being happy using your freelance stuff on the side, you still want to grow.
Yeah. And I mean, being in the church, like doing all the creative stuff, I am doing what I'm doing just for like a different company, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for like the church instead of like doing it for just like by myself.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I'm still like continuously trying to grow. I'm still trying to like doing all the things and like, I'm staying busy and I love what I do. Cause that's like being able to do what I would do if I was basically freelancing. It's just a constant thing.
Yeah, I feel like there's progress.
There's some
for
security
your
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Financial security, progress for your creative self, and progress just for your spiritual self.
Right.
And I think you just kind of that's enough to satisfy.
Yeah, that's a lot of positives. Positives right there. Yeah, cool. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up because we're kind of getting close to our time here. Sure. This has been a great conversation again.
Yes, round two.
Take two.
But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and thanks, Drew, so much for being all the way at Andrew's house instead of mine.
And,
all the way from Connecticut.
Thank you, Ben Blank, for the feature.
Yeah.
He's currently scratching a bunch of boxes in the background.
Yeah, and it's adorable. I wish you could see it.
He's actually currently in a box.
He's in a Petco box of all boxes.
Oh, so fitting. So fitting. Oh, but anyways, Drew Hawthorne Design.
Yes.
Is your freelance. If
somebody only on Instagram. So
only on Instagram. Yeah. So if somebody wants to
look. And it's all old stuff. I don't think I've posted since 2021, actually. So I mean, enjoy.
So what you're saying is what's on there, you're even better than that.
Sure, if you want to say that. Your words, not mine.
Instagram, Drew Hawthorne Design. Hit him up for really cool stuff, such as what did we call it? That's what I called it. I called it like compositing or something. I don't even know. But like logos.
If you like pictures online, like,
logos,
I can do that.
Album arts, that kind of deal.
Sure.
Word. All right, cool. Sweet. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.